All right, so this is going to be a reading for Sagittarius. And for the Sagittarius that I'm reading for today, I'm seeing that you are in the middle of processing something that was possibly quite difficult, brought up some pain, some hardship for you. And I see you revisiting this to gain a better understanding of what happened and of yourself. And as you do this, there is quite a determination to see the truth in the situation, to grasp that higher understanding, but there also may be parts of it that you're not seeing clearly, or there may be lessons from it that you're kind of meant to learn that you're still on your way to learning. And part of the reason for this obscurity could be because it brings up some type of pain, and as you go into it, it feels triggering, it feels difficult, it feels painful, but I do see you committed to kind of balancing this out. If anything, you might be a little bit up in your head about it, or there might just be, right, that determination to get to that balanced place, and that's kind of your goal. Even if it's difficult, even if at times you feel stuck, that's sort of the trajectory that you're on. So that's what this reading is going to be about today, and I'm going to dive deeper into these energies in a moment. But before I do, I just want to say thank you so much for being here and for receiving this reading. If you would like a personal reading, I do offer them and I love doing personal readings. So please, if you're interested, definitely reach out to me. My email is down below in the description box. And if this reading resonates with you, please take a second to like and subscribe, as that helps me connect deeper with your energy. But without further ado, Sagittarius, let's dive in here. So your overall energy for the reading is the Nine of Pentacles. So that's an energy of standing strong on your own, feeling empowered. You may have sort of detached from other things in your life or kind of defined yourself as an individual in order to move through whatever this process is. You're kind of showing me, I got this, I can support myself, but also this is something that I'm moving through in a sort of solitary way. It's something only I can experience by myself. When I clarify the Nine of Pentacles, we get the Knight of Swords, the Six of Pentacles, the Six of Cups. So there is that determination to understand something that happened here in the past, to work through the balances in it. There could be some anxiety that comes up around it with that Knight of Swords. There could be a bit of a fast moving energy. You're kind of showing me, come hell or high water, I'm going to figure this out. As you move through this, there could also be an energy that comes back around to communicate with you, or you communicate with it. That won't apply to all of you, so just take it if it resonates and leave it if it doesn't. Now, in the recent past, we have the Five of Pentacles, the Hanged Man, the Four of Pentacles. You're showing me that there was some type of separation that happened, something quite difficult with that Five of Pentacles. It may have shaken you up quite a bit, maybe shaken your sense of confidence. And with the Hanged Man and the Four of Pentacles, you're showing me that there's a part of yourself that kind of remains suspended in that place, or that wasn't able to really move forward. And there's an acknowledgement over that of, I did stay stuck in that for a second. And so that's why I have to revisit that. Your oracle cards for today are understanding, isolation, and postponement. So you're showing me again that consciousness with the understanding card, that you're going within. You may feel like you're kind of hibernating or separating yourself from society or from the culture around you in order to have this very internal process and to build your sense of understanding. So for some of you, you may feel separate from other people, or even if you're around other people, you might feel like there's some type of distance between you, be that emotional or spiritual. And with postponement, this is an interesting card because even though you can't see it, I'm going to describe it to you. We have sort of this black and white landscape that this woman is looking out at, but she's only able to see a certain portion of it through this frame, and what's within the frame is in color, but what's outside of the frame is not in color. And so there's an element of disconnection to this, of looking at something, looking at only a portion of something and putting off the rest of it in order to gain that deeper understanding. So there might be parts of you that as you move through this and gain this understanding, you feel a bit disconnected from whatever's going on around you, because it's almost like you have one foot in the past and one foot in the present, and you're trying to kind of balance out those energies. So let's take a look at what happened here in the past and that feeling of suspension that you have with the Hanged Man. For the Five of Pentacles, we have the Six of Wands, the Two of Cups, the Ten of Cups. So this was a soul connection, something that felt really good. It may have felt like everything to you. It felt aligned. It made you feel confident. It made you feel empowered. You kind of felt like you hit the jackpot with whatever this was. But then there was this ending point, this separation, where you had to kind of move on from it. And you're showing me that was very, very difficult to do in the material world. Maybe for some of you it required like moving, I'm hearing, like moving states, moving homes, or it just affected your finances in some way. But for most of you, I'm just seeing that the part of you that felt stable, that felt secure in what this was, got kind of shaken up because this meant so much to you, and you really defined whatever this was as what made you confident. You could have located sort of your center of gravity in whatever this was. And it taught you a lot with the Hanged Man, but there's also an element of kind of staying in that spot, like I mentioned, and that's what you're kind of working through. Let's take a look at that Hanged Man. Nine of Cups, the Seven of Wands, the Magician. Yeah, it's sort of like whenever this stopped, a part of your heart stopped, your happiness stopped, your sense of desire and fulfillment and emotional empowerment stopped. You're literally showing me my heart was put on pause, and it kind of comes through as something that just happened, that was just created by the circumstances here of, all of a sudden I was just stopped in my tracks. And it also, because your heart kind of stopped there wherever it was, so did any manifestations that were going to come from your heart. So particularly in the Magician card, we have the infinity symbol. And I'm kind of getting that sense of give and take in the infinity symbol, of the tide coming in and out. And your sense of give and take that comes from your heart may have just stopped when it came to this. And you could have felt blocked from really connecting to things that made you happy, that made you feel like that loving presence from your heart. And it's not even that you wanted it to stop or that it was a conscious decision. You're just showing me everything sort of paused then, especially when it came to your heart. And the reason for that, with the Four of Pentacles and the Lover's card, the Four of Wands, and the Three of Cups, is like you're kind of holding on to this feeling of always wanting to connect with whatever this was again. And even if you're listening to this and you're like, I never want to hear from that person again, I hate them, blah, 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 blah. It's more like on a spiritual level, because your heart stayed in that place with whatever this was, there's a part of you that wants to connect to your heart and where it remains, which is with this connection, with this soul connection. And for some of you, this might have not been romantic. This could have been a family that you had to leave behind. This could have been a community that you had to leave behind. But whatever it was, it felt like everything to your heart. It felt like this is it. There's a real sense of stability attached to this too. And because of that as well, when you had to move on from this and your stability came down, there could have been this feeling of, well, I want my stability back, or if I'm going to feel stable, I need to reconnect with whatever this is, because that's where my heart is and where my stability is. I do see you rebuilding your strength, but it's a sort of solitary rebuilding process, and this was definitely grounded in connections with other people, at least one other person, but for many of you I'm seeing multiple other people as well. And so that's a difficult thing to come out of, and I can understand why you're holding on to whatever this was, because there is something about those relationships with someone else or other people that felt really empowering, really validating to you, and felt really fulfilling. And there's a part of you that still holds on to that, at least at the soul level. So that's hard to come away from, Sagittarius, and I really feel for you if you're resonating with this reading. Let's take a look at the current energy here. It's interesting because with the Queen of Swords and the Seven of Swords, that's an energy of clarity and then an energy of lack of clarity. And you kind of may go in and out of those energies, or both sort of present themselves to you here, especially as it relates to stepping into something new with that Ace of Pentacles. There could be times where you're like, yeah, I'm ready to move forward. I'm going to carry on no matter what it takes. And then other times there's a sense of, am I really moving in the right direction? Or is this really right for me? And your intuition isn't really showing up here. You're more connected to the mental space, which makes sense because all of your heart space seem kinds of stuck in the past. So if your heart space is stuck in the past, what you're left with is more of that mental space, and that's what you're going to be kind of approaching from. It's not good or bad, it just kind of is what it is. Let's take a look at that Queen of Swords. It's a very practical energy here, but because you're so practical, there could be like things that kind of fall through the cracks or that you miss because your heart space isn't really there to account for them. Let's look at that Queen of Swords. Ace of Cups, the World, the Empress. That's kind of funny. It's kind of like you're saying, I'm closing my heart off because that's it. Like, I experienced all there is to experience in love, and now I just have to kind of move forward. And that kind of comes through as deceptive because there's a lot that kind of gets missed when you leave your heart out of the equation. Let's look at that Seven of Swords. There's also sort of this feeling of like, that was it. My love is there. I'm fine on my own, but my love is over there in the past. Whatever it is, it's done. It's over. I have to kind of move forward. And that's sort of a belief that you carry with you. And that is, I think, why the Seven of Swords is coming through, because it kind of blinds you to new opportunities coming through because you've left all of that energy in the past. And it doesn't leave any room for anything to come out in the future. Let's take a look at that Seven of Swords. The Hierophant, the Hermit, the Three of Wands. You're showing me like, I'm trying to heal, I'm trying to learn the deeper lessons, but at the same time, you're sort of waiting on something from the past to come back around. And again, it's like you're kind of missing the point in a way because you're putting all the power on that past thing rather than looking within and moving forward. And you're showing me like I'm making an effort to move forward. I'm making an effort to rebuild, to heal. But when it comes down to the truth of it at the core, there's a lot of energy that goes towards the past and working with the past. And there's things that are trying to come in for you at the present, like opportunities, new things in general that you could connect to, but you're not seeing them because you're focused on the past. And I don't mean that in an accusatory way. It's just something that kind of needs to be worked through here. And if you're feeling isolated or like your life is on hold, it could be because how could it not be on hold if you're kind of stuck in the mud there in the past? Because if good things come in the present, you're not even, it's going to go right over your head because you're so focused on what happened there. And not just what happened, but it's like you define all good things as being in that past energy. You see your happiness through that lens. You see your heart through that lens. And so no matter how good something is that comes through, if you're not connecting to it through your heart in the present moment, you're not going to see it. It's not going to show up on your heart's radar. Yeah, for the Ace of Pentacles, we get the Knight of Cups, the Ten of Cups, the Two of Swords. There's actually a lot of things that are coming through and trying to connect to your heart. Not just one thing, but many. New opportunities for love, new opportunities for growth, friendships, community, family connections, people that want to connect with you, people that possibly see the beauty of your heart, but it's almost like you don't even fully see it with that Two of Swords. You get so in your head. And it's like I said, it's like if your heart is left in the past, what that leaves is your mental space. And then you're trying to connect to these things that are coming through to your heart from that space of the mind. So say someone like does have feelings for you and they're flirting with you, and it, hypothetically that would feel really good. Maybe even if you're not attracted to them, you'd like the attention or something. It's something that would be fun, it would be light, it would be romantic. But because your heart's not there, you're just receiving the messages and you're like, well, what do they mean by this? And maybe I should respond like this. And it takes some of the joy and the lightness and the play out of it. And there's opportunities there for joy and lightness. And I'm not saying that all of you are going to have someone flirting with you or something like that, but it could be anything. It could be your pet who wants to play with you and you're like, not right now. I'm I'm thinking about stuff. It's something like that. And it's not just one thing either. And there's lots of opportunities here for you, but it almost like might start to become not like paranoia, but like it's so serious. It's so focused and it's a bit heavy, and you're like very analytical about things that really just ask you to have fun and enjoy yourself and get into that flow. The Knight of Cups and the Ten of Cups, that's that very watery heart space energy. And it's coming through and saying, are you there, Sagittarius? Are you going to come through? All right. As we move into the near future, we have the Eight of Wands, the Three of Swords, the Judgment. So that painful energy is coming back around. Because how could it not? That's what you're focused on. And so this is not to say that whoever you were dealing with in the past, like that person is going to come back into your life and try to talk to you. For some of you, that might be the case, but for the most part, it's just going to be this energy of the pain that hasn't been dealt with. And if there's any expectation or hope that you carry to reconnect with that, that's going to come out to be dealt with as you move forward, because you're kind of at this crossroads of your heart where time is moving forward and the universe is asking you to confront this so that you can move forward. You're showing me, yeah, I can move forward. I'm moving forward. Look at me. I'm moving. Life is happening. For some of you, you could be connecting to some things a little bit of the time from that space of your mind, and you're like, yeah, I'm moving forward. I'm changing. Look, I've changed. And Spirit's saying, like, very gently, like, honey, like no, like you still have pain here that's trying to be confronted, and you're going to feel like you're on pause until you confront that pain. And the longer you put it off, the more strongly it's going to come up for you, because it's going to have been bubbling under the surface. For the Three of Swords, we get the Seven of Cups, the Eight of Cups, the Ace of Pentacles. Like I said, all that stuff, all those feelings that have been bubbling up that you've been kind of running away from or that you haven't been able to face, that's going to come through, and it's going to say, look, here it is. Here it all is in like a package of pain, and it's going to hurt. But don't be afraid, because it's nothing you can't handle, because it's all just an energy that comes from within you. So it's really just asking you to take a look at yourself. And it's going to be a matter of you being courageous and just looking at that. Not judging it, not saying, well, I have to do this or this, but really just looking at it, facing the pain, being in pain, maybe crying, and then putting it down again. And I see there being this sort of higher spiritual awakening that comes through that you might actually be quite grateful for, because you had the opportunity to reflect. For Judgment, we get the Eight of Swords, the Two of Wands, the Two of Cups. You're going to learn a lot about yourself in relationships, and maybe some of the ways that you've been blocked or that you blocked yourself, some of the ways that your mind gets in the way. There's definitely like a lesson to be had here about your own blockages and what it is that stopped you in your connections from, being fully present or feeling things or moving things to the next level or whatever it is. There's some type of blockage that comes from within you, that kind of, it's not the pain that necessarily needs to just be grappled with. There's also a deeper lesson to that pain, and that's what this crossroads of your heart is really drawing your attention to. It's like, don't just be in pain for the sake of being in pain. Take a look at what you're struggling with internally so that you can learn something from it. Let's get 3 cards of advice from the universe before we close out the reading. You have the 10 of Pentacles, the 5 of Cups, the 5 of Swords. There's something that's trying to end here, like for real, for good. And it's kind of up to you. You may think you've ended it, but if there's still pain, if there's still regret, if there's still disappointment, there's something there that you're not seeing that wants to be seen. And so just try to be honest with yourself. It's through that honesty that you're actually going to be able to fully close this out. And once it's closed out, because you've actually looked at your emotions, it's going to feel a lot more abundant. It's not going to feel as difficult because you're going to say, yeah, I looked under every rock. I looked at everything that hurt. And I was honest with myself. You don't have to run away from yourself because it's just you and you. You don't have anything to prove to anyone else. It's just you and you. So just do yourself a solid and spend some time with yourself and how you really feel and being honest about how you feel, because there's something here. It might have been so painful that without even realizing it, you kind of cut corners on that healing process, and there's a bit more that you have to do. So that's what I have for you, Sagittarius. I hope that this helps. I hope that this resonates, and I'll see you next time.